Ironman St. George is going away. We're going to talk about why that's happening, at least somewhat why, and how you can get involved in literally the ultimate Ironman St. George race, at least for this decade, this saga, coming up in the next week. And I'm like Jeremy Larkin, host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. I've got my good friend Colby Nielson in the studio. And by the way, get close to that microphone, dude.
Good morning.
Because if you don't get close, they won't hear you.
All right.
This guy took a break. Listen, this is kind of fun. You took a break this morning from your day job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell people what you do. Like, be outside of running all of how many volunteers, by the way?
Well, we'll probably end up with about 2,000.
2,000 volunteers. So what's your day job?
So I'm a high school math teacher at Pineview High School.
I love this. I honestly, I like that because you're just like a regular dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, because people look at the Ironman and they're like, oh, you guys have your Ironman polos on. You must be kind of official. Well, I mean, whatever that means. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm official for the race.
Yeah.
How long you been teaching math?
27 years.
Holy crap. I ran into the, principal over there at Dixie High School, Brooks, who was teaching when I was in high school.
Right.
And I was there for my son's, he had some assembly because he's graduating. I'm out. I'm done. I'm out of high school kids,
That's
right?
it.
So he's like, oh my gosh, Jeremy, this just makes my day. I was like, he looks young too. He really does look pretty young. So 27 years. Here's the crazy part, Colby, as we talk about Ironman today. 27 years, but of the 27, Ironman's been going for 15.
15 of those. Yep.
That's nuts,
I
man.
know.
Let's rewind, and we're going to talk about the fact that this race is going away, and there are a good number of people who are actually quite happy about that. I want to talk about that too. I mean, I like talking about what people hate and what people love. A lot of people love the event. I want to talk about the people that hate the event, the reasons that they don't like the event in town. Some of these people are business owners. Some of these people are homeowners, residents. Let's just call it residents, right? They may not be homeowners. And a little bit of history. So guys, it's just super fascinating. The first thing I want to talk about is I want to start and end with how people get involved. If somebody says, wow, I've volunteered in the past, it's super fun. I think it's super fun. I'll be there. Where do they go to get involved? Like right now?
Well, right now, I think the easiest way to do it is just remember ironman.greaterzion.com. They've got a link on their website. You can hit the community link, and then there's a volunteer option, and then it takes you to the Ironman registration page. And
Ironman.greaterstgeorge.com.
No. Ironman.greaterzion.
Zion, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Greater
the
St.
tourism
George
office.
Yeah.
Right? Greater Zion.
I was reading the St. George magazine as I said it on the counter. Yeah. Okay.
Ironman.greaterzion.com.
Right. Yeah. This is super awesome.
You can just follow a few links, and you can pick whatever area you want. Like for yours is T2.
Yeah, T2. So guys, if you want to work with me, hang out with us.
T2 support.
We work at T2 support.
Check out.
I want to talk about some history, but before I do this, when people come and do an Ironman event, we have a full and we have a half. And half doesn't sound exciting. So Ironman doesn't call it a half. They actually call it what?
70.3.
Yeah, 70.3.
That's half the distance and mileage. Yeah.
So, lest people think, well, that's kind of not as cool, right? I mean, what is that? What are those distances?
Well, for the 70.3, so you're going to swim 1.2 miles. You're going to bike 56 miles. And then you're going to run a half marathon, so 13.1 miles.
Yeah. So, guys, put that in perspective. You're just going to ride your bike up to like Parowan. After you're going to swim for 1.2 miles in open water with people kicking you in the face. Have you had the experience?
Oh, yeah.
How many times?
Well, I've done many a triathlon, but as far as, I did the Ironman in Arizona.
Yeah.
Back in April of 2008. It was the last year they had it in April because it was so blazing hot.
Uh-huh.
Like I got out of the swim. I got off the bike. Just side note, I got off the bike. It was so hot. I got off the bike, racked my bike, got in the tent,
Sure. Yeah, the changing tent.
To get your
shoes on
and whatnot. And I come out of there, and it was just like a blast furnace hit me in the face as I opened that tent. I'm like, all my goals went out the window.
It was because the goal, you had time goals, but the goal now became
goal now became finish, and the goal also became I'm going to run 1 mile at a time because they have an aid station every mile. So I'm see if I can run 1 mile, walk through the aid station, run a mile, walk through the aid station. Well, that lasted about 5 miles. Then it was like half. Run half a mile, walk for a minute, run half a mile to the aid station. It was just like, it was so hot.
That is
it just
brutal.
Zapped you.
Well, and I want to talk, we can talk about weather too. So, you come back to the 70.3 distance, you swim 1.2 miles, you bike 56, and then to half marathon, 13.1 miles. Guys, 13.1 miles is a long time to run. I mean, the average person has never run more than 3 or 4 miles, right? So, now we could get into the Iron Cowboy. It's a whole separate conversation. Oh, the stuff this guy's done. We actually had on Monday in our kind of sales training with our team, we actually listened to an 8-minute podcast that was about what he did. And he got it down to where there was times when he did the 50 and 50 Ironman in 50 states in 50 days. He got down to where he was like, I was literally going 1 minute at a time.
Yeah.
And the odd part is that his body adapted, and in this podcast, they said that on day 35 of 50, his time started improving. His body broke down on day 5, and for a month, he's like, there's no way. And on day 35, all of a sudden, his body started to actually strengthen, and he got faster. It's crazy.
Wow.
But look, we're not talking about that, but it's fun. It's fun for the radio, right? So we're running a 70.3 distance. St. George started as a full iron.
Distance,
yeah, right. So what happened?
Well, that's a long day. That's and as far as like the county, you got a lot of resources that you're using with the county for a long day, and that event back, even when I was racing was. It was the goal was to finish before midnight, right? With the full distance race, it was a midnight cutoff, right?
Yep.
And so, you're finishing and it's dark, whatever. And anyway, it was great as a participant, but as a host or you putting it on, that's a long day to tap all your resources. And anyway, and we had some weather challenges 1 year, different things, and it just ended up being a better fit to have a 70.3.
Well,
for the county.
Yeah, we were there that first year we were almost all the years together. And I still remember 2010. You don't ever forget that first, what that was like. And the cannon went off and they went out. And then it was the second year that it was like the hypothermia year. Wasn't that year too?
Probably.
2011, where the water was just, I don't know what the water was. But they were dragging people out of the water, and the wind was white caps.
Well, and the air temperature was cold too, so that didn't help.
Yeah,
getting them out. One of the years there was like that big windstorm that came through.
Oh my gosh! I mean, here's the hard part though: it can be 96 degrees the first week of May, or you can be pulling people out of the water with hypothermia. That's a challenge, man.
Yeah, it's always been a challenge.
So, what year was it that they moved from the full to the half?
Well, it was 3 years as a full.
Okay,
and then after that, so
13. Yeah, this is kind of fascinating to me. And if look, folks, if you haven't been involved in this, I'm going to plug it multiple times during the show. If you haven't been involved, this is one of those things where you might have said for years, I'd love to go out and I see people at the aid stations or doing whatever, and this is our year. Guys, I'm telling you, this is the last year.
Yeah.
How do these, I don't mean technically, but how do these contracts generically work? What is this?
I don't.
This isn't like Ironman just decided to walk into town, right?
Right. I mean, it was a big process to even get Ironman to consider opening a race in this area.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of factors, and I don't know all the details of how the contracts between the cities involved, the county, the state of Utah. I know that the Utah Sports Commission kicked in some money each year, and then you have your title sponsors. We had Ford, we've had we've had Intermountain Health for quite a while, which has been good. Anyway, everybody has to be on board. Everybody has to, get their piece of the contract and signed, and then you approve it for, usually it's like a 3 to 5 year thing, contract at a time. And anyway, this kind of ran out, and I guess through all the entities, it just ended up being, ran its course, or just not something they really wanted to,
pun intended,
to run into for another 5 years or something. Or
well, look, we've been at this. We talked about this before the show started. It's been 15 years. It's been 16 events, because which year was it that we replayed the worlds here instead of?
Oh, let's see. So after 20, we didn't have a race 21? In 2020, right? So in 21, was it 21? We had the two.
Yeah.
Had two races.
Yep.
World Championship full distance, World Championship 70.3 distance.
Crazy.
Beginning of the year, or, May, and then in October.
Yeah. And for folks who don't know what we're talking about, the World Championship is always done in Kona, Hawaii. And Hawaii they were beyond lockdown. Yeah. I mean, we all know the story. We had local people who went there on vacation and couldn't leave during COVID. Well, they were not hosting races for a while. And so they brought the race here.
Well, and we had the bid for the 70.3 World Championship.
Correct.
But it wasn't until the next year.
Yeah.
And the reason we got the extra 70.3 World Championship is because New Zealand wasn't allowing people traveling either.
Yep.
And so, and we were. So we did full distance World Championship.
This is land of the free, home of the brave, man.
And then another 70.3 after that. So a lot of people in town still think that's what we're still doing, the World Championships.
Yeah.
Because they ask about it, and they're on that World Championship schedule or whatever. But
yeah.
After the 3, we went back to our regular race. It's been great, and thoroughly enjoyed this part of it.
So guys, ironman.greaterzion.com if you want to get involved, and I think you should. Race day is
May 10th.
May 10th.
Next week.
I know the week. I just don't know the day.
Yeah.
So May 10th, a week from Saturday. So I originally volunteered when I first got involved in this thing, and Colby knows all this, but I was always at the lake peeling wetsuits.
Yeah.
It's really kind of mayhem, because these athletes come out of the water. It's cold. Their hands don't work correctly. And because you've raced plenty, you come out of the water and you've been swimming horizontally, and then you go vertical, and it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
with your body.
It's a little weird.
But your blood goes to your feet, and you're like,
trying to walk for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they'll come up and they'll literally drop on their butt, they'll pull the top of their wetsuit down because they're clothed underneath, right? And their cycling gear. And then, you pull that wetsuit off, and the water splashes all over the crowd, and the crowd cheers. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
So they move from there. They get on the bike. Everybody goes into these corrals. How many athletes will be here this year?
This year will be a big group because it's the final one. And, typically you have 2,500 people sign up.
Yeah.
You might get 1,800 that actually toe the line.
Yeah.
We're going to get 3,000.
That's a lot.
And you're going to have most of those, I would say 90%. There's not going to be a lot of attrition. There'll be 90% of them that'll actually toe the line. So it's going to be a big crowd, big race.
Yeah. So these people show up. They're going to cruise out of, this is Sand Hollow Reservoir. They're going to go out of Sand Hollow Reservoir. They're going to, it's a circuitous route. We won't get into too much detail in the terms of our time this morning. But they're going to loop around. And after they do their deal of going around the lake, heading up, coming down SR9 from Hurricane, then they go up over. They basically, on the bike, they come up over Coral Canyon. Right. They come up over Coral Canyon. You guys know there's a stoplight at the top of Coral Canyon. They go down the hill, and then they head on up past
Washington Parkway,
up Parkway, past Maverick and Terribles. They go over the top. They're going to wind around, and then they're going to actually go past town, right?
We'll stay on the
Parkway,
Red Hills Parkway now, and over down into the Red Hills Parkway, and then it's the Snow Canyon Parkway. Like it's all Parkway.
It's all Parkway, and then they're going to go up Snow Canyon.
Yeah, into Ivans and up.
And
Snow Canyon.
I point this out because that's hard.
Yeah, it's a tough
listen,
climb.
when I go out there and just train on my bike, because I'm a cyclist, I'm really not a triathlete. It's never not hard. It's always hard.
Well, we used to coin that, Jeremy, the Larkin weave.
The Larkin weave. Tell them what happened. We were out on a 100-mile ride.
Yeah.
It's a true story.
And
You and Jeff Gardner and I, who was the original race director.
Yeah, we. So crazy. Jeff and I are behind Jeremy going up a hill. I think it was Gunlock, going up that way. And anyway, Jeremy starts, weaving all the way to the left, all the way to the right. We're like, yeah, it's burning his legs.
This was like, I don't know what got into me. Because we'd gone over Utah Hill and back. That, you know what it was? It was that I always called it the Hiram Smith, the hill outside of the Smith Ranch.
Yeah, that was
the Hiram Smith.
You don't realize there's hills right through there.
Oh, in that one little spot is steep.
It was a tough climb.
And then you hit the wall. Too funny. Which that used to be part of the flippin' full Ironman race.
Yeah, they did it twice.
Oh my gosh, so brutal, so brutal.
Yeah.
So they're going to cruise up Snow Canyon, come down SR18, wind into town, and then they run. And then the running course is more or less what? Up Main, out diagonal,
up bluff to just about where the intersection happens, where the flyover.
Yeah, you go to Snow Canyon Parkway or wherever.
Yeah, and up there and then back, and they think they go out and back twice.
Yeah, about twice. And then guys, finish line is at Town Square. The transition from the bike to the run is at Town Square, and it's such a blast. They have to be done by 4:30.
Right around there. Yeah.
So if you're not done, race time, pros start about 7-ish. But if you're not done by 4:30, then you can obviously finish. But when you come across the line, they're going to say you didn't technically qualify, right?
Yeah, and hopefully you're close by that time.
Yeah, yeah. So there's just, if you haven't been involved, it's really electric. It's hard to describe if you haven't been to the lake in the morning or to Town Square. It's just something else.
Hey, it's an event, it's a show. It's a lot of hype. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of excitement. It's pretty cool.
And they set up this Ironman Village. When would that be open? Technically open.
Thursday.
Thursday
of next week is, I think, athletes come in and get their registration packets and stuff starting at about 2:00, I think, on Thursday. They'll be setting up maybe Wednesday and Thursday morning, getting all the vendors in and everything.
I've got to assume they're going to be blowing out any merchandise because this is it.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that that's going to go fast.
Yeah, what are you going to do with all your old Ironman St. George? It's like they can't take anywhere else. They put up this giant tent store, and you can it's like Hoka shoes and all the cool tons of stuff. Right?
All the gear, yeah.
All the gear, wetsuits. You can buy anything you want. So, look, we need some help though. We have some areas that need some help.
Yeah, we've got some critical areas. Your area that for checkout needs some people. There's some areas on Friday.
Yeah.
Not race day Saturday, but on Friday, like at the check-in at T2, which is the
Town Square,
the school district parking lot. They need some help with check-in. Out at the lake, they need some help with check-in. We need some people to help out at the lake when all the athletes are going out there to check in, kind of direct traffic. Because it gets kind of crazy with all the cars coming in. And anyway, there's just a lot of critical areas that just need people that we could really use some help.
Look, and guys, please, this is ironman.greaterzion.com. Hop on there. You will not be sorry. I want to address two things. There is a lot of love for the event.
Yeah.
We talked about some hate. The business owners downtown, in a nutshell, I'm looking at our time. We got about 6 minutes. Business owners, what's their gripe?
Well, those that may get cut off a little bit with the event, because there's some road closures and things for half a day.
Yeah.
Some love it because they're where the crowd is.
Yeah.
And so they get a lot of foot traffic and people coming in. So, it is what it is, and it's hard to please everyone. And, but some benefit, some don't benefit as much. It's kind of, it's hard.
Yeah.
And it's exciting all at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have citizens who are like, we can't get to and from work. And, and this is the same with the St. George Marathon.
It is. But here's what I tell everyone for the Ironman. Like, if you want to get around, just go south, stay off the first exit, go to the Bluff Street exit, and you can get anywhere you want.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to go one exit further and then come up.
Correct. Yeah, that is such a good point. Go one exit further south and then come up. Yeah.
And it's for half a day.
Yeah. Look, look, I've said this strongly every year because we've been on the radio almost as long as we've done the race. We got on the radio in 2012.
Yeah.
People like to complain. And if you hear this and you're angry, you're definitely the person I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can go ahead and hold your phone up and just you hit the camera and then you hit that button that turns it around and you'll see who it is. So sorry, not sorry. Right?
People are impacted.
I get it.
I get it too.
Yeah. It's not convenient.
And there's a lot of events in town, and there's a lot of things that are happening, and there's a lot of traffic. I get it.
LPGA Tour literally teed off at 8:00 this morning at Black Desert. This is like the ladies tour. Yeah. And this isn't like, oh, this is the junior tour. This is the full women's tour, just like the men's tour came.
Yep.
There is a lot. So look, this race goes away and the question's going to come up and it's a question for Chad or somebody or, you know what I mean? One of these guys, but is this ever going to come back? We have no idea.
No idea.
We have no idea. Yep. 3 minutes. We have no idea if it ever comes back.
Well, it can. It's not like it's going to be gone. It can't, like it will be gone forever. It can come back depending on how bad, the commission and the county and the cities and tourism office, if they all want to get together and revisit it, they can. I mean, it happened in Boise. Mm-hmm. They're back.
Yeah.
They went away for a few years. So
I think people are tired when we talk about some of the complaints and, in my mind, it was absolutely incredible for this community. And, now we see what's next. Now we've got PGA Tour events a couple times a year. And I mean, I'm kind of bummed to think that we're like next year, we're not doing this.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's exciting and it's disappointing all at the same time for this last run.
Yeah. It's certainly brought a lot of money in, and people will often say, because we are a real estate program, right? And predominantly we just talk about real estate. Well, you realtors, you love all the traffic. I don't love the traffic. Do you think what? So my brain was filtered. So I'm annoyed, I'm as annoyed with the traffic as everyone else is. It's just that I see it, I think, differently, and I get excited about the event, and I'm excited about the excitement, right? I'm like the energy, and I see what it's done for the community. We're going to continue to grow as we wrap up in our final minute. Guys, St. George is not going to stop growing. And the conversation that happens, if you go to word of mouth and the Washington City word of mouth pages, all these pages, we got to stop selling homes, let's stop building homes. We will never, ever stop building homes. First of all, you should affirm that 10 times on a sheet of paper so you can live with it, okay? It's never happening. And when you stop building homes in a community, you actually restrict supply, and then home prices go higher. That's why it will never stop. So our job, guys, whether it's Ironman traffic impacts or growth, is we have to navigate and manage, guys. So Colby Nielson with Ironman, Jeremy Larkin, visit ironman.greaterzion.com. We want to see you. Bye-bye.
All right.